My guest today is the brain behind Fankind, India's first platform that brings fans, celebrities, and charities together. Anshula Kapoor had a passion for entrepreneurship and social impact right from the beginning. A graduate of Columbia Institute, she started Fankind with a heartfelt impulse to put a smile on the faces of fans that showered their favorite celebrities with unconditional love. Join me in a conversation with Anshula as I discuss with her love, purpose, books, and everything in between. Hi, Anshula. Welcome to the show. I'm so glad you were able to come here and give us some time to be able to share your story with our listeners.
Thank you, Akanksha. Thank you for inviting me. And thank you for giving me the honor for considering that I'm worthy enough to be on your podcast.
Oh, of course. Like I love to have young minds, people with fresh perspective, and everyone who's trying to make a difference in whatever small or big way that they are. And I think Fankind is doing that, and of course, it's your baby. So I want to start with the first obvious question, which is, while growing up, did you always see yourself have a passion for creating something with a social impact, or was it something that you stumbled upon while you were growing up?
Um, Growing up, I did not have much clarity on where I'm going to end up, what I want to do, what I want my career to look like. I was not one of the children who instinctively knew they want to be a doctor or they want to be an artist or they want to be a lawyer. I had no idea. I even went to college as an undecided major to try and figure out where my interests lie. Having said that, something that my mom inculcated within me from I think when I was like in fourth or fifth standard in school was the fact that schoolwork is important. Do your homework, go to school, like do all of that stuff. But like apart from that, also we come from a place where we are able to help people in ways that they could require help. Not all of it has to be monetary. Most of it, my growing up years, was with my actual time. Like for example, a lot of my extracurriculars revolve around teaching, going to Urdu medium or Hindi medium schools and teaching them English because English was their second language, but English was my first language in my school. So helping them with their English schoolwork, like doing those after school sessions with them, helping them with math, helping them with geography, things like that. So I started like getting involved in helping children primarily and helping people because my mom, it was something that was very important to my mom. That then became something that I truly enjoyed doing. Like that like spark in like if as a 15-year-old, as a 14-year-old, when you're trying to help a 5 or a 6-year-old understand fractions for the first time, and like she gets it, that spark in her eye, and she's just like, oh, like wow, this is like I know what I'm doing now. That was just something that used to give me a lot of joy. So I continued doing that. I continued like after school teaching for as I think till like I was in the 12th standard. And apart from that, I then started realizing I actually like using my time in these ways. So whether it was like tree plantation drives or like beach cleanups or like whatever I could fit into my schedule or whatever I could, whatever I would know of or hear of, I would try and sort of participate. So my journey began very organically. It was something that I did to kind of better use my time with as opposed to something that was like that was just like drilled into me as if like ye karna hi padega to, like it was not one of those things. It was something I did voluntarily, but it was something I did because I wanted, that gave me happiness when I had no homework to do as a kid.
Correct. No, and it seems like something that came to you very organically in that sense, because I think if your mom was passionate about that, she's always told you that she feels that you come from a place where you can do something that can better somebody's life. And the fact that you actually went through doing all of this in an age when kids just like to focus on their own lives, play, chill, and hang out. Like if you were able to do this when you were in school, like it's amazing. I feel like it was an early start in that case.
Thank you. I don't look at it as an early start. It just, I don't know. I guess because it was being done from such a young age, it was just something that was naturally part of my life for so many years.
That you're now actually using as your purpose forward, which is beautiful.
Yeah, like that was, so when the idea of Fankind took shape in my mind, it was there were like a lot of different things that were playing in my head that culminated in the creation of what Fankind is today. My brother had already, he'd been an actor, he'd been in the movies for a few years. And in that time frame, specifically in the beginning of his career, he wasn't as active on social media. In fact, he wasn't on social media for the first 2 years, I believe, of him being an actor. I was on Twitter, I was on Instagram, and I didn't have a private account at that point because like no one knew me. Also, I was in New York, so like it's not like I was in the public eye. I wasn't traditionally brought up in the public eye either. After his first film released, a lot of his well-wishers, a lot of his fans, as we call them as well, reached out to me saying, can you please pass on this message? Like, we really liked his performance here. We loved that movie there. My mom saw it with her friends and like she would really love like a signed photo of him, like things like that. So I would organically try and like get that done where he was concerned. Like that time DVDs and CDs were still a thing back in 2012. So like signed CDs, having that sent to like a fan who did Yeah. So like all of that I used to do, and it used to make me really happy if in the middle of the street, if someone at that point recognized me and be like, are you Arjun's sister? And I would be like, yeah. And then they would give me like a message to pass on to him. So one aspect of Fankind, of course, came from the fact that I do belong to a family that has been in the limelight and that is fortunate enough to have fans. Be it my uncle, be it my cousins, be it my brother. So one part of Fankind was obviously like from there. But the other part, the more important part, was the learnings of my mom. My mom passed away in 2012. So that was, so all I have left is her teachings and her learnings or the conversations that we used to have. And something that was extremely important that I do for her was that I continued her legacy of being this kind-hearted person, or just continue her legacy of being a person who is a little bit more empathetic towards the people in her universe, not so trying to help them in whatever capacity you're capable of. So Fankind for me is like my way of my mom, and like the best parts is like my family coming together, like a tribute to my mom, a tribute to my brother, a tribute to my family in that sense as well. So that's where the idea of Fankind germinated from. And I think, of course, the fact that I did have very limited, I would say, but I did have a little bit of background in working with NGOs also helped me just drive focus towards that side of things as well.
But it's such a beautiful thought, right? Your mom must be so proud that you're taking forward the legacy of genuinely making a difference. I'm sure she is. So I just want to understand a little more in depth about Fankind. So we know that you use celebrity experiences to basically forward funding towards a cause that could actually make a difference. So how do you sort of, decide which cause goes when? Like, is that like a joint effort between you and the celebrity who's onboarded, or is it more like Fankind works on that?
So, at the very beginning, I was very clear that as a fundraising platform, the money that's collected, which is going to be the donation aspect of the money that's collected, needs to directly be deposited in NGO's account. Because I was so clear and so adamant on that happening, what I realized very early on is that this means I need to have an umbrella organization that is an NGO that I am officially affiliated with, in a way that they can help me with due diligence, they can help me with fund disbursement to like the actual work that's happening on ground. But the money is able to directly go to them because they are also then able to give the tax exempt certificate as needed to the individuals who are donating. So that's very essential. At no point do I want it to feel like it's not authentic.
Right.
So at the very beginning, our first association of Fankind was with Give India. They are our philanthropy partner and one of the most integral associations that we have currently and that we continue to work with. Give India has they are like an umbrella organization. They're an NGO, but they work with and fundraise for a lot of smaller and bigger NGOs who do actual amazing work on ground. So one of the ways that Give India helps Fankind is if I approach a celebrity. And sometimes celebrities are very hands-on and involved with NGOs already. For example, Alia Bhatt and World for All or Vidya Paran and Arpan. They've been associated with those NGOs for years, and they then would like to fundraise for those causes. But there are a lot of celebrities who are passionate about a multitude of causes, who have lent their support to a multitude of NGOs. In that aspect, the celebrities, of course, share with me what is the cause that they are most passionate about, or what is the cause that they want to fundraise for. Or, for example, like while we were in the pandemic and there were certain things that needed our assistance, I can always go to a particular celebrity who has agreed graciously to be a part of Fankind and be like, I know you wanted to raise funds for cause A, and these are the list of a few NGOs we can associate with. But I would also like to just suggest here that cause B is in dire needs of funds right now. So you could give it a read, and if you feel like that's something that resonates with you, maybe we can fundraise for B this time. The final call of which NGO to fundraise for and which cause to associate with is always in the hands of the celebrity. Because at the end of the day, they are the face of the experience as well. Like, they are talking to their fans, asking them to come on board and contribute. So it has to be a cause that they are extremely passionate about, or a cause that they would like to lend their voice towards.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair, because they are doing this to basically create awareness and raise funding for a particular cause. And since you are the medium, it's only fair that they get the final call to decide where the funds.
Precisely.
So, but the idea behind this is very unique, because you're using the fact that you come from a family of great influence to genuinely change lives, which is beautiful, because it goes much deeper than just creating funding, right? Like, you guys are involved on ground level in like raising those funds, actually have them dispersed and reach the end audience, in this case, like whatever cause that is being supported.
So what Give India helps us with, and what I really appreciate about them, is, so if today I tell you that this campaign is going to be raising funds for the broader cause of helping people who are battling cancer, that's a very broad and vague cause to be associated with. Now, are you helping people who are actively seeking radiation or chemotherapy? Are you paying for hospitalization? Are you paying for the medicines and the medical care? Are you paying for their nutrition? Are you paying for, if they've traveled to a different city to seek treatment, are you paying for the house or the hostel that they will be staying in? In the realm of this cause, what is the micro campaign, like we call it? That's something that Give India helps funnel down for us. So before the campaign even begins fundraising, they establish where will the money be used on ground? Like, what is the exact purpose for which the money will be used? That is defined as a micro campaign. Then we work backwards by creating a per unit cost. So to help one person, or to help one animal, or to plant one tree, what is the amount that needs to, or to educate one child, what is the amount that needs to be raised? Okay, also, if you're educating a child, where, like, there are NGOs who work pan-India. So which part of India, which school, which district, what's the ratio of girls to boys there? What is the age ratio? What is the dropout ratio? Is there anything else that we can do apart from just paying the monthly fee? Like, if there is digital education, can we help them fundraise for maybe tablets or computers, or for digital literacy? So again, for every cause, just like deep diving and funneling into the exact fund usage is something that Give India is extremely good at helping us with, and helping us have they have the conversation with the NGO, and they always know what is the most important or the most urgent need for the funds to be used at. Having said this, we launched just not even 6 months before COVID. We launched in mid of August of 2019, and March 2020 was COVID. So a lot of things in the NGO world went into flux during COVID, because of a lot of there were lockdowns imposed, the needs changed, the demands changed. So we had 3 active campaigns at the point when the country went into lockdown. One of those campaigns, for example, was with Anshula Kapoor, where we were raising funds for SARS in Ahmedabad. We were technically raising funds for for Balghar, for education of the small children, in I think 5 or 6 Balghars spread across Ahmedabad.
Okay.
However, by the time that the campaign ended and the funds were collected, we were knee deep into the lockdown.
Right.
So the schools were closed. So, but we were sitting with an X amount of money that had been collected.
Right.
And the NGO had a whole other need of needing to provide sanitation requirements to families, to mothers, to children, things like masks and sanitizers and soaps and all kinds of things, like ration kits, like just small kits that you can give to the house so that they know exactly what to do. So the funds that were collected were therefore used for something completely different from what we had originally collected them from.
Because
however, there was
the hour, right? Like at that time.
Yeah. However, it was still well defined and it was well communicated.
Right.
Having said that, I still had to clear that with the celebrity. Right. Yes, Janvi is my sister. There is that relationship. However, the money was raised on her name, and her fans were told it's going to be used for a certain purpose. If you're using it for a different purpose, she needs to be okay with that, right? So, like that, anytime that there were causes, particularly in the pandemic, that we had to change micro campaigns too, because the wave started, or the fund usage kind of had to be rejigged. The celebrity always has to be kept in the loop, and they always have to agree to the fact that, okay, yes, this is the need has changed. This is the need now. I'm completely okay with the funds being used there. And of course, given they are being as amazing as they are, they provide complete the reporting on ground is amazing. Whether you want photos, whether you want interviews with the beneficiaries, anything you want, they have it available, because that's how involved they are in terms of making sure. And like during the pandemic, of course, I wasn't able to be on ground at all, as much as I would have wanted to. There's no way anyone from Team Fankind is able to go, because firstly, we were all under lockdown. So having such an amazing organization that you can rely on for due diligence, even during a pandemic, is just like hats off to them and their entire team and the way they've continued working.
I mean, these NGOs, frontline workers, I feel like they've given everything they had and so much more in the pandemic. And I don't think as citizens we can ever be grateful enough for everything that they've put on the line. And I feel like, having Give India with you and Fankind, I feel like you all do clear with everything that you've explained. I feel like you do also create a level of transparency with with the fans of the celebrity, with the celebrity itself, because you are keeping everything very clear that this is what we're trying to raise it for, this is where it's gone. And that's important, because a lot of times, these things, because this is something I've noticed, you'll keep getting calls from random NGOs. You don't know where the money is going. It's not like people don't want to help. A lot of times it's more about nobody knows where it's going. So having a partner NGO like this for Fankind is great, because you're able to actually justify every rupee. You're able to clarify that to anyone who's donating, which I think really furthers the cause even more.
Thank you.
So coming back to Fankind, I just want to understand what your long-term vision is with everything that you all are trying to build here.
So last year, which was the first season of Fankind, we did experiences primarily with Bollywood celebrities. We did. We started off by doing in-person experiences. Obviously, we had to pivot to doing virtual experiences in the pandemic. We continue to do those virtual experiences. We added on options last year. Sonakshi Sinha was extremely kind. She donated about 11 pieces of art that she had hand created from canvases to sketches, and we auctioned those to raise funds to be able to provide ration kits to migrant workers and unemployed laborers who lost their jobs because of the lockdown. So we have already pivoted thrice and explored 3 different ways in which we can help fans interact with the celebrities. Basically, my vision is to be a fundraising platform where you are able to experience and create memories with your favorite celebrities, whether the celebrity happens to come from the world of Bollywood, comes from the world of music, comes from the world of art, fashion, sports. If there is a celebrity that you want to interact with, that you want to meet with, or that you want to own something that they've created, I want to be able to become the platform that's able to facilitate that experience or facilitate that product for you. So that's always been the goal for Fankind. And obviously, the fact that I keep saying that we're fundraising. Yes, we are fundraising for NGOs. We're fundraising for through Give India. We're fundraising for causes and NGOs that. So that is the vision with Fankind, in whatever small or big ways that we can monetarily help the NGOs that we associate with, and trying to kind of facilitate experiences for fans who may not have the ability to have a meaningful interaction with or own a meaningful piece of creation from their favorite celebrity. So even right now, as we speak, we have an auction that's live on the website where we are auctioning especially autographed jerseys from Royal Challengers Bangalore. The entire squad has, the team has donated jerseys from each player on the squad. And each player has autographed the jerseys, and we're auctioning them to raise funds for to be able to conduct mobile vaccination drives in semi-urban places across the country that don't have free government clinics available to them readily, and for communities who can't afford to pay an X amount of money to go to a private clinic to get the jab. So Give India again works with Narayan Health here to be able to. So Narayan Health does a lot more than just procure vaccines and do mobile drives. They also work in capacity building. They work with government, like smaller government bodies, etc. But what we are fundraising for through the auction is to be able to conduct these mobile vaccination drives. So, but then again, here we've ventured into cricket, we ventured into sports. This is our first association in a whole different vertical, in a whole different world. And we started off with an auction because, like, for me, I believe owning a jersey of a cricketer that you are passionate about, a jersey that he has autographed, is something that you can even frame and hang up in your wall. Right. It becomes a memory, it becomes a collectible for you to keep with you. It's a keepsake that'll, like, I know, like, my brother, for example, is a football fan. And like, one of the things that I gave him for one of his birthdays a few years ago was a jersey autographed by every single player of Chelsea, a football team that he's a huge fan of. Again, that you may not directly be able to interact with the sportsman through this auction, but you're getting to own something that was worn by them during a match and something that they've autographed for you. So again, it's just about providing an access and reach to celebrity-owned things, celebrity experiences, just to be able to fundraise in the best way that we possibly know how.
Also, like, I mean, and like you said, it may not be a direct experience of like a conversation or a chat or like an in-person experience, but even this, that they can own a part of something that a celebrity has worn or signed or created itself, I think could be like a keepsake, right? So, I mean, it's a really noble thought and cause that you guys are bringing together. Y'all are basically like, I mean, of course, you're a fundraising platform, but you're also acting as middlemen for fans to be able to meet their celebrity and along with that create a difference. So
it's like wish fulfillment, and like in a very in like the way I look at it, the way I start, like one of the reasons I started the platform was wish fulfillment. Now the wish fulfillment happens on the fan side because they get their interaction and they get that experience. And the wish fulfillment also happens when we're helping the NGOs because we're being able to. I wish to believe, and I hope that's true, but we're able to positively impact the lives of people that we're working with, that the NGOs are working with, for whom we're fundraising as well. So it's dream fulfillment, it's wish fulfillment, and it's just all those things that make me smile and make me happy.
You're smiling so bright as we speak right now. I can actually see like how passionate you are through like the call right now. So I want to come back and understand now, like if you had to name one really positive influence in your life, like what or who would that be?
There are, various stages of my life. I've had various people who've had positive influences on me, who continue to have an influence on me. Right from the beginning is obviously like the most important person in my life was my mother. So her influence, her guidance, her ability to multitask, and her ability to basically be a woman with 100 hands and a woman with 100 brains to be able to just do everything. But like, my entire growing up years, the 21 years that she was with me, I have never once felt like I am second to anyone. And Bhaiya has never felt that either. She always, no matter where she was working, how hard she was working, what hours she was working, or whatever else was going on in her life, even while she was battling her own cancer, I was never made to feel like I don't matter. So, I was, no matter if I ever wanted anything, if I ever needed anything, whether that was in the form of encouraging words, whether that was in the form of just a shoulder to like vent to, whether that was in the form of just needing her, like in any, not just monetary ways, but like in so many small ways, like you do need a parent. Yeah. She was there no matter what else was going on. She was 100% the biggest cheerleader, my backbone, like always there. And I hope to be able to even be like a quarter of that person to the people who are in my family and the people who I like love and hold dear to my heart. That's something that she's been a huge influence in that sense, and in almost all aspects, because I've grown up with her being one of my biggest role models in a lot of ways. There's so much to admire and so much to learn from my own brother, like the way he just always manages to find perseverance, the way he always manages to find a bright spot, so that like anything that's going on in his life or in his universe that could bog him down, he always finds a way to kind of keep moving forward. He is now my biggest cheerleader. There are days when I don't have faith in myself. There are days when I'm always second guessing and third guessing what I'm doing, but he's there. He's someone I look forward to always chatting with and always just hanging out with, because there's just so much. If you've interacted with him, so I don't know how much you have, but you have interacted with him.
Yes.
He has a lot of wise words. He's not frivolous in the way he talks and the way he like conducts himself in that sense as well. So he's a role model in a lot of ways as well. Plus, he's been, for the most part of my life, he's been the only male figure I've had to look up to or like to kind of go to for anything that I've needed. And he's always beautifully fulfilled that role, even as a teenager himself.
Correct.
So he's always been someone I look up to for those reasons as well. He became a parent to me when he himself was a child.
Correct.
I mean, even when mom passed away, he was in his early 20s. He was 25.
Yeah.
And that's no age.
Know how to deal with any of.
Yeah, that's not an age for you to be a parent to a full-grown ass semi-adult. You know. So it's not easy to be financially responsible, to be emotionally responsible, to be physically responsible. So I look up to him in a lot of ways. I have friends who I look up to. There are entrepreneurs like Pooja Dhingra, for example, who I look up to, who are role models who influence me. There are like every facet of life that you kind of want to better yourself in, you will always find someone that you can look up to and, if not emulate, but at least learn from what you believe they're doing right, and then try and inculcate that. So even outside of my family, there are a lot of people that I look up to, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to imbibe from them.
Yes. Also, I mean, that point was really valid. The one where you said, like, you know, if you're looking to learn something or, just educate yourself about something new, you'll always find the right people to guide you or be in your corner for that matter. And especially like, with your mother, I think she was such an important influence in both your lives that, your brother was able to step in for you after her. And more than the financial strain, I think it's always about the emotional support, right? Because he's also seeking it.
Also, I lost a parent. He lost the same parent. So while he was grieving her loss, he was able to make enough emotional room in his mind to be able to be there for me as well, so that I didn't have to grieve alone.
Right.
And that's a huge responsibility for someone who was just starting off in his career. So there is so much uncertainty that comes from there. You don't know if you're going to be getting your second film because mom died before the first film release. There is so much of your own grief that you're going through, but you're still able to make room for your sister, which for me is just,
it's really pure love.
Sometimes
it's being
and like
beyond being
just,
unconditional.
Like, yeah, it's like he astounds me every single day. He astounds me with his heart, his ability to be. Sometimes I call him like in my universe. Sometimes he's omnipresent, because there are times that I don't realize I'm sinking and I need someone to pull me up, and he knows it before I can have self-realization. and he just fulfills that role without me realizing that I needed someone to kind of like, pull me up in that sense. So he's amazing.
But that is something that also comes across any picture that has come out with both of you together. Like you can actually see that love and that the adulation both of you have for each other. Every picture says it, not because I've worked with him and now I'm talking to you, but even as an outsider, if I was just to see these pictures, you can tell how much he loves you and protects you, and you're really, really lucky to have someone like that in your corner. And I'm sure you do the same role for him. If I was to call him tomorrow, I'm sure he'd say the same thing about you. So
we do lean on each other a lot. But having said that, I know that and I guess you're right. We would say the same things about each other, but it wouldn't have been. The last 9 years would have been a lot more difficult if I didn't have him with me.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it is something that you never know how to deal with, but just the fact that you have a rock with you, I think it gives you a little more fuel to keep going. And I'm so glad that both of you found that in each other. So I want to quickly go into our rapid fire now to keep things light. So tell me your favorite hobby.
Reading, fiction actually is a hobby.
Right behind you right now.
Yeah, but now I read on my Kindle, so yeah.
Oh man, everybody's transitioned into this whole
7 years ago, bought my first Kindle, the best decision of my life. Because how many books will a shelf take? My Kindle has 900 books in it. Wow. Imagine having 900 books in a room. It's not possible.
Yeah, we live in Bombay.
Yeah.
So, okay, then I have to ask you, what is the one book that you would recommend somebody listens to if they want to learn more about how to make a difference?
I read for for me, I read instead of watching Netflix, I read. So most of what I've been reading for the past 2 years has been fiction, romantic fiction or just comedy fiction. But there's Lean In, for example, is a great book if you want to just learn from the business side of things and also just from the ethical side of things. Lean In is a great book. Michelle Obama's autobiography is a great book as well, just to be able to get another perspective. Mm-hmm. Mindy Kaling wrote a book which is great in just being able to get another perspective on things. So there are a lot of nonfiction books that I could recommend. Nonfiction, I mostly just read autobiographies to a great extent. Okay. But for the past year, it's mostly been about...
I said, autobiographies are great because you actually get an insight into the lives of the person who's writing it. So, I mean, you can learn so much from a third person perspective in this case. So, okay, great. So, tell me your ultimate comfort food.
It depends on my mood and if I'm PMSing or not. But eternal, 365 days, you give me pizza any time of day, I would probably eat it. Plain cheese pizza particularly. Mm-hmm. With the gooey cheese just melting and stretching when you're taking the slice apart. Muh mein pani aa raha. The other thing that is ultimate comfort for me is gulab jamun and butter chicken.
Okay. I'm team pizza too, so I'll join you there. Now tell me one outfit that you don't mind spending your life in.
Leggings and a top, leggings and a t-shirt. Ultimate comfort to just be in. But fun fact, I'm wearing leggings right now, but you cannot see because right before the call started, I was t-shirt nahi, shirt pehen lete. Thoda formal lag jayega. But otherwise, just kaftans, man. I'm a comfort gal.
So, man, dude, this happened to me too. Until the lockdown, I used to be oh, dude, kaftans, they look too big. I don't want to be in them. And then I tried it
most
once.
Comfortable.
Yeah, and it changed my life.
Yeah. It's the most comfortable thing to be in.
Absolutely. So now, because this is the Made for More podcast, I have to ask you, is there a moment or an experience where you realized that you were made for more?
I still don't realize if I'm made for more. I'm a self-deprecating person who's constantly striving to do better. So I never believe that whatever I've done is enough. So I don't know how to answer that question for you. But more than me being made for more, I hope I'm able to do more for people in in my world, the people who I hold close to my heart, and also the people that could benefit from my privilege, who I can help because I come from a certain kind of privilege. So it's not about if I am made for more, it's about how who I am can be used by me to kind of make someone else's life, like make a difference in someone else's life. Hopefully the difference will be a better difference and a positive difference. But I don't know how else to answer this question.
No, but I have to tell you, like, first of all, because you're doing such a great job with making a difference and everything that you plan to do now on, like having, I am somebody who runs an inclusive body positive brand, and we constantly talk about how, your self-talk is important. So I just want to tell you, give yourself some credit for all the work you're doing, because nobody else can until you start like valuing yourself. This is something that's been a journey for us. None of us are there, but it's like every single day you need to kind of talk yourself into understanding that, okay, like I'm better than where I was. Like, I think we kind of started our careers, like I started the brand and you started Fankind around the same time. Because I remember like talking to you, just like we had just about started when you had kickstarted Fankind, and I just feel like we've all come like such a long way. You've been able to create so much of a difference with the work that you did, especially during the pandemic. So give yourself a pat on the back, because you deserve it, and go maybe enjoy with some pizza.
Thank you.
But it was lovely to have you on the call today, and I'm so glad that I was able to know the real Anshula, because we've only known you through pictures and a little bit here and there because of Arjun, and I'm glad I got to know your story, who you really are and where you came from. And I hope that we get to stay in touch and have a great day.
Likewise. Thank you. Have a great day too. Thank you so much. This was a very fun conversation, and I hope whoever's listening had as much fun as we did recording it.
Like this Sochcast? Tune in for more with the Sochcast app from the Google Play Store.